Grand Master. Claudionor spent his early years in favela Praia de Pinto in Rio de Janeiro. It has amazing surrounding views of coastal mountains and ocean. The neighborhood burned down under mysterious circumstances. The residents were displaced from their homes. All over Brazil, people came of age in the culture around them. Claudionor grew up in that favela until the fire consumed it. He was a young man coming of age in the 70s and 80s. He was chosen to carry on the traditional style of Chicote de Couro. The unique style uses only functional movements and sequences for combat application. The story of Grand Master Claudionor Nogueira de Souza. "50 years ago, he was chosen to continue the legacy of a 300-year-old martial arts tradition. Capoeira. Claudionor was champion of Rio de Janeiro's full-contact Capoeira combat circuit. The Capoeira life he seemed to be born for. The master is a local of countless places around Rio de Janeiro. He's known to ride his bike dozens of miles every day around all parts of the city. The master's style leaves Brazil. Chapter 1. Richmond. Richmond is almost 5,000 miles north of Rio de Janeiro. Ruben was a student of the master in Rio for most of his childhood until he left for the USA. He continued his postdoctoral studies in neuroscience at the Medical College of Virginia. I visited Rio de Janeiro in 2007 to meet back up with my capoeira and teacher and one of my best friends, and to meet the master himself. Ruben and Facao, big knife, going back and forth with the sequence. They'll keep repeating it until it's balanced and strong and smooth. Claudionor's style came from a long line of capoeira history and legend. Many black men of that era had little opportunity for furthering themselves in mainstream society. Claudionor was trained in the art of capoeira contact with Mestre Zagrangi. Mr. Mario Santos is like the great-grandfather of the capoeira bomb theme style, and Ruben's peers from the 70s and 80s are now masters. Mario Santos, or Silkfoot, born in 1934, the year of capoeira's decriminalization. Mario Santos moved south to Rio at the age of 17. His friends Bedel and Dende are the originators of legendary capoeira families in Rio de Janeiro today. They received the art in Bahia through the tradition of Manuel Henrique Basoro, the Beetle. Basoro learned from Tio Alipio, an enslaved man who taught him the art. The practice of slavery ended in 1888. No one knows capoeira's true origins. The master bridged the next generation of capoeira, the 70s through the 2000 era. Capoeira competition was popular in the late 70s and 80s. It was full contact. It's always functioned as a community and social. The art of capoeira's roots grew strong and wide. Its culture and tradition, the movements, instruments, stories, history, community. The gathering of capoeira, city of God. Each group has its own unique style, ways to evade kicks, ways to flip high and low. Ruben begins a game with Mestre Hachinho. Both styles come from the bomb theme family. Spin kicks, cartwheels, sweeps, and sway. The game is style and danger. Capoeira today looks like many things. Emphasis could be placed on any of its many different facets. The Chicote de Couro style is a functioning fighting tool. Most of this area of Brazil is favela, areas where there are few or no government services. This space serves as a central location in the Bom Sucesso neighborhood. Capoeira has been a community within this community for generations. Some began as children and continue decades later. The tradition continues to connect. The power of the circle, bringing people together. Mestres Geraldo and Zagrangi trained Claudionor to become the champion capoeira fighter. They lived in different times as well. Both were known to live hard and died young. The master, on the other hand, is in better shape than most 25-year-olds. Does capoeira training sessions indoors at the gym space. The sequence illustrates variations, includes a range of specific movements. Mestre Fabio Arana in blue pants was the first officiated master of Claudionor students. The Chicote Couro style and movements are adapted with this playful game between friends. The master style was passed from Ruben to Daniel, who included the art as an activity with his school. Sundrop's Montessori Capoeira group began in 2012. Some students began taking additional capoeira classes. The young students trained the sequences of the master. They worked to make the sequences tighter. As they train together, a new friend is about to enter their lives. Francis arrives from Ghana, West Africa. He attends our school for a year. Well, he left his life as a child master drummer to seek a cure for the increasing blindness in his eyes. He began drumming after being removed from school because he had almost no vision. Francis learned capoeira in the way he could with what he had. Daniel taught Francis the best he could, like the master had taught him. The master trains through repetition. He prepares the student for the circle. The eye of the lifelong player sees deeper, watches the game and player's movements in a different way. Everybody's got to pay to earn the belt at capoeira baptism. There's no exception to learn this language. Ability must be assessed in front of the master and the group. The student receives their belt by playing with everyone. Members of other groups are invited to challenge and enjoy the game of the new graduate. This playing atmosphere is invaluable to put into effect what one has learned in practice. A belt is awarded to signify a new level of training. Each group has their own belt traditions. Chicote Couro group belt system was created by Mestre Arana. Mestre Arana, Spider, also designs the logos and graphics for the group. The individual movements of our group can be categorized methodically. To qualify as a master, one would have to study for capoeira for 25 years.
And I asked him, and he said, hey,
capoeira served as an intervention for young people in Charleston. This unique style of Rio de Janeiro finds a home in Charleston and dance schools. The tradition gets passed on when we build the foundation. We train the warm-ups and format of the Rio de Janeiro Chicote Couro capoeira style. We make the circle of capoeira and play. Groups after school enjoy the game. Expressions with instrument and song. Capoeira brings Brazilian community to Charleston. Capoeira was a natural fit for many, incorporating rhythm, movement, and insight. The Jenga movement is essential to capoeira. Body moves from side to side. Each player finds the rhythm to balance. Songs of the game set the game's feel. The nice Jenga is a full body focus and workout. Each has their own. It came to pass that the master's style was shared in Ethiopia. Capoeira was instructed at the Awassa Youth Campus. There's a natural mystic to capoeira. Everywhere it shows up, it seems people are playing. Universal language. It's an art form that survives through sharing. Francis in orange plays in his village, Charleston, South Carolina, back to Africa. Francis returned to Ghana. Capoeira was a natural extension of the movement and play. Francis in green continues to play capoeira and drums with the Inca Bomb, children's dance and cultural troupe. Practicing sequences, exercises. Summer classes are held with local children at Enkabom House. Capoeira requires few materials. The children of Ghana move naturally. The village holds its summer event, the Enkabom World Music and Cultural Festival. Children train in the afternoons to make a capoeira circle for the show. When the knight showed up to play, the crowd was captivated by the game. Became fast friends with Christine Saraya in Yemen. Saraya works with Columbia University's Institute for Religion, Culture, and Public Life. The story of Chicote Couro Capoeira became part of an event hosted by the Institute. Drums, Spirit Circle, the movement, songs. Dr. Saraya Batman Galich, Katia Wislowski, Dr. TJ Desh-Obi. Before and after the discussion, we played games of capoeira. Take a trip to Brazil or a trip to Charleston. Check out the fluidity of people, sharing that style trained by Mestre Claudionor. Mestre Aranya turns up the heat till we wind up in Central Park, in Times Square, all over New York, and then back to Charleston to share with a group of students through demonstrations and more games. Aranya doesn't play halfway ever. The art has to be shown in the right light, always turning it up. Jumping into the circle passes on the tradition. We return to Sundrops for a belt ceremony of our own. Keeping me on my toes. So the children had a ceremony of their own. So trip to Havana was the natural environment for movement and culture. Martin Luther King Center in Havana is an educational resource for this area. The rhythms of capoeira use the group circle to keep the beat. Different demonstrations of techniques of capoeira's application in games and martial arts application. Young adult refugees in Cairo experience capoeira as a component of a rare instrument demonstration. And now we return back to Virginia. It became apparent that capoeira could connect as a therapeutic modality. Introducing the concept of connection through the rhythms, history, and instruments. Creating curiosity about our world and fostering a lifelong love of learning. Certain events allow a large group to assemble together. Capoeira served as a component of the educational programs in this youth facility. These movements are shared with history and storytelling, and we talk about things like, what is your story? So we go forward in the world and share what we've learned as best we can. The Chicote Couro Capoeira group, Mestre Claudionor, Mestre Aranya, Mestre Penta, Contra Mestre Huben, Grand Master Claudionor.